This is a really important exhibition, not only for the communities that host these exhibitions, both here in Loretto and in Ligonier, but because it's part of the PCA grant funds, which SAMA has been very fortunate to receive. And that allows the museum to work with contemporary local artists who then go into the school in an artist in residency program and work with students, exposing them to the different media in the arts and have an opportunity for them to develop some interests and their talent if they have such when they're in these programs. It's really important so that the community understands the value of art in the school system, the value of art in the community and in the nation. And these exhibitions are sort of the icing on the cake because it shows the creativity of children, it shows their interests, it shows their talent level, and each of them have a certain pride when they come to the exhibition to see their work hanging on the walls. Arts education is part of rounding out an individual. We're all part of a creative world. Everything around us is created by someone. Someone had an idea, a design, a thought. And so learning about formal art in school is really critical. It's a critical thinking skill, and I think it also gives children an opportunity to express themselves in a non-regimented manner. It gives them the opportunity to experience new things. It's not rote, it's not sort of structured in a book sense. It gives them an opportunity to explore their desires, their love of color, their love of structure and shapes, and I think this builds the character of the child. It's crucial that they have access to this because it's part of rounding them out as an individual. Art is really critical to our life, to our happiness, to our creative nature, and I think it's one thing that schools really have been forced into making tough decisions that are shortchanging individuals and the kids if they don't have access to art. I know we have something called the STEM program, but it really should be the STEAM program because art is just a part of making the world move.
I like to participate in this show just because it gives our kids a chance to really see their artwork in a museum type setting and really realize that what they're doing is worthwhile and isn't just something fun to take home and hang on the refrigerator. The Arts and Education program comes in every spring and they bring in the artwork from the museum, from the SAMA's permanent collection. And the kids really get a kick out of that too because they see real artwork and they ask a million questions and they really become involved. The program is well organized. They do this wonderful presentation and exhibition every year that, like I said, I've participated in for close to 20 years now, and it's just there's something here for everybody. I mean, I come here for ideas. I see artwork from senior high school students, which of course I don't deal with on a daily basis, all the way down to my peers that are also teaching kindergarten projects, and we share ideas. I see some stuff that I've done before that other teachers now do. There's stuff that I've learned here, picked up from teachers across the Commonwealth, basically. And like I said, if you're thinking about becoming involved with the museum, I'd highly recommend it.
We were told to use a banana in an art piece with pastels, so I kind of took a challenge to draw it in different angles and with different colors. I'm excited. I mean, compared to everyone else's, it's fun to look at different styles and different art abilities, but I'm just happy to have it here. It's really great to come out here and see local talent and see it's such a variety.
This piece was created with myself, Evgeny, who's one of the resident artists, students. I've had students that weren't even in the class that want to participate with it, but the project in itself was what people go through, like different struggles, different ways to get emotions out. So this piece represents different emotions, different projects, different feelings that some of the students have, fears. There's lots that just come out of like each student individually in one large piece. As far as the program goes, it's great to have. I enjoy getting to meet the artist, learn with the artist, work on projects, and sometimes the artist will actually learn stuff from the teacher, so reciprocating process.
One should support arts education because for us, for those of us who are artists, it's absolutely fundamental to being able to have something that engages the hand, because there's something about working with one's hand, whether you're working in clay, with a pencil, with a paintbrush, there's something about working with one's hand that feeds the mind. And on my makeup table at home is a proverb that says, "Art is frozen Zen." And when I pulled that off my Zen calendar, I went, that's absolutely true, because when one is engaged in making art, whether it's a visual art or whether it's musical art or theater art, it does suspend one's tensions that engage with the real world, and you do end up in a state that is meditative. And that, I think, is one of the things that is most fundamental about working in the arts, and that it gives you such a different way of looking at things. Or even if you're in art school, an assignment requires you to look at different things differently and then produce something that comes out of yourself. And whether you're working in business or medical school or wherever, being able to develop different perspectives on things is really important. And so you can internalize that when you're working in an art medium, no matter what part of the fine arts it is. That becomes internalized and somehow then comes out in your work, and that's what makes certain people really successful in their careers.
Hosting the exhibition is an annual event here, and it brings people into the museum who would most likely never even think to attend anything at the museum, but they have kids, grandkids. I know a lot of the adults out here, and three of them said they had grandchildren that had a piece in this work. And so, of course, a lot of them lean down to me and say they don't know a thing about art, but they have a grandson or granddaughter or a son or a daughter who loves art and enjoys us coming into the schools hosting programs. For us, it's just something that can go into the agenda every semester and is more economical for the school, dollars and cents wise, and then it continues to offer for the students the exposure to the arts. Why it's important to have art in school, that doesn't seem to be a real popular line of thinking in recent years. Programs have been cut when budgets. The art department was probably one of the first things to be cut. So you left out a whole slice of people's personalities if you're not cultivating or developing an interest in art. You don't have to be good at art to develop an interest in art. And that's where I was back to the other question of it falls in the hobby category, that you maintain an interest in the arts as you would in Sunday football for some people, and it's art for others. So I just think it's important at a young age to have some access for young people.
This is the art of the future in my mind. This is our student art is actually what the artists are going to be doing in the future here. The kids, being able to light a creative fire in these kids, and for them to come here to the museum and see their artwork on display and to bring their parents into the museum, it's just a wonderful, wonderful win for everybody. As a person who grew up without a real art class in any school that I was in, I realized early in my life that they need to have art in school. I did some research when I first started working with the museum about SAT scores, and they found out that math and English both score higher with art in the curriculum. And just to go in the classroom and work with these kids was a wonderful thing. And then the museum about 15 years ago expanded into the healthcare field, and we're doing a lot of work with all kinds of people, infirm people, Alzheimer's patients. We also have a vet initiative where we work with veterans. I've been working at a homeless shelter for vets up here in Pennsylvania, and the guys just love it. You have to see the looks on their faces when they start doing their art. They're just completely absorbed, as art has a way of healing you, and I certainly have found out on my own that's very true. My favorite part is seeing what is going on in the different schools, seeing how wonderful these kids, how proud they are to be standing there with their picture, their parents, and it's just a wonderful win-win for everybody.